A couple years ago, I was at a point where I wasn't happy with where I was, who I was, and what had I accomplished versus what I hadn't accomplished. I felt my whole world crashing on me. I had this lack of direction in life. I felt that I was spinning my wheels, that I wasn't going anywhere. Everything was out of my control, and maybe certain decisions that I had made when I was younger, they didn't serve me as well as I thought they did. I remember just absolutely catastrophizing, I don't know if that's a word, just blowing up things going on in my life, things going on in my head out of proportion. These really small things would just trigger anxiety attacks in me. I was panting. I could barely control my breathing. I couldn't talk properly. I just lost, my own grip with my emotions. I remember prior to this point in my life, I graduated college about a year and a half prior to when I started really getting these anxiety attacks, maybe like once or twice a month. I thought I had everything going on for me. I thought I already accomplished so much. I was surrounded by good people, and I thought that, once I got to that point, that I could just coast on those past merits, like as if I had set the foundation for the rest of my life, as if I did everything I did, and then I was in the clear. I was in the good, just coast on my merits, right? Coast on my decisions I made in the past rather than worry about what I was going to do in the future. It was just a level of invincibility that I felt I had that came crumbling down. In general, I felt this really strong uncertainty if I was on the right path in life. I was freaking terrified about the future. I wasn't taking as good of care of myself. I even ballooned up to like 227 pounds. I was at the point where sitting with my thoughts was a scary thing, right? I didn't want to, address what was going on in my head. I didn't want to think about everything I was going through. My thoughts were scary. I didn't want to sit with my thoughts. I didn't want to address them. But I knew something was wrong, because on the handful of occasions where I did sit with them, it was terrifying. It was so terrifying. I just remember it made me even more scared. It made me even more anxious about everything that was going on, whether it was in my head or around me, just in life in general. I just knew that things needed to change, and I needed a different direction with my life, as I didn't like where it was going. I didn't like the direction that I was in. I didn't like the path that I was currently on. One of the things that really kept me going, I always had in the back of my mind that things would change for the better, that I would get better, that I would be better, right? There are better days ahead. As I continued to get out of this hole that I found myself in, I started really diving into a lot of kind of like self-improvement content, general well-being kind of content. 3 specific people that really helped me out, and honestly still help me out even today. They're Matthew Vella, Nathaniel Drew, Katie Morin. Those 3 people in particular, they really helped me out. They helped me acquire tools that would best serve me in life. They helped me get out of this rut that I was in, on top of the work that I was already doing on my own. Whether that content was around minimalism, finding direction in life, not feeling as behind in life as I perceived myself to be, how to prioritize my mental health, how to prioritize my overall well-being, and how just to talk to myself better, how to be nicer to myself. As I was on this path to better myself, I realized by overcoming this negative thought cycle that had really consumed me of feeling like I was doing everything wrong, by finding some sort of purpose and direction in my life, that alone would be an accomplishment. That alone could be something that I could be proud of. If I could push myself to be better in spite of where I was physically and mentally, questioning my own self-worth and value, it gave me something to overcome. If I could get through this, come out of this on the other side a better person, become someone that I'm proud of, there's so much other things that I can do in life. In a way, this part of my life was like a story in a movie or a TV show where I had this problem in my life. I had to rise to the occasion. I had to find a solution to this problem, and then I overcame it. It accumulated in a climax where I learned how to better myself, improve my relationship with myself, and come out of this hole that I was in a better person. In a lot of ways, this was good in the long run that I went through this. In a lot of ways, this was much needed character development that I needed in my life. I needed some battle scars. I needed to get rugged up a little bit. I've always been a fan of the underdog in a story, right? Who has, all this adversity stacked up against them. For a while, I had my own adversity, right? Just being consumed by negative thoughts, anxiety attacks, frustration around my own life, and a lack of direction in life. So, like, for example, if I saw what I was going through from an outsider's perspective, I would think, good for them, right? They're working on themselves. They're doing everything that, they're doing to overcome what they're going through. What they were struggling with, these feelings of inadequacy, these negative thoughts that were consuming them. And they came out on the other side of all that, a much more well-rounded human being. This growth highlighted how fulfilling life is. I wanted to get out of this mental funk. That alone gave me value in life. It gave me meaning, and it gave me purpose in life. What I went through was like a badge of honor. It's pretty cool looking back at the progress I've made, who I was then versus who I am now. And now when I reflect on who I am, a lot more positive things come up than negative things. I learned how to pick myself up. I learned how to brush myself off and be nicer to myself, which are all important in building myself up as a person. It's one thing to make progress when everything is good, but to me, it's a true test of character when you're trying to make the best out of a crappy situation rather than a good situation, and you're still moving forward when things get tough.